Father, son, grandfather, uncle, all scoring at Tarbes or Poe at the distance. And then the red fella that scored at Barcelona, he was half Scotland and half the man in the Midlands. Brilliant. And that man was still alive at the time. Well, I wrote that when I was asked, you know, I put all that down.
Yeah.
Give the people credit. Because, well, they're all gone now. I mean, I had my own pigeon score in Scotland, and I was even there to see them score.
Yeah.
How about that? That was brilliant, because up there those guys really never would bother having pigeons in someone south. Jimmy Hamilton always said, if you want long distance pigeons, always go north, no matter where you are. Quite sensible.
Yeah, makes sense.
But because I would start doing well, and I was doing 600 mile, then we swapped a few. And, well, I done better with his than he done with mine, obviously.
Right.
But they were guys that were doing it. I mean, I was up there once, it was around Easter time, and they had a big long race on. I was there for that. And he's sitting there waiting on one pigeon. You know, he's only sent, she was good, but he didn't get her that time. She'd been over so many times. He was fit to be tied. You know, I thought she'd be here, Noel. I thought she'd be here. I said, well, we always think that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of hawks, and my attitude is, good pigeons don't get lost. They're either dead or they're captured. And that happens a lot too. And people can look and see, my pigeon goes into a loft, or your pigeon, and you're scoring, and he sees a national ring on there. They can go on the National Flying Club and check out.
Have a look.
Oh, look what I've got.
Yeah.
Just imagine somebody could be sitting there. I mean, I lost that, I'm not sure it was inland or it was just down at one of the islands. The fella that was sixth open. You know, somebody could be sitting there, okay, they can't say they've bred it, but they could breed from it. Well, you're going to leave that there then?
Just for now, I'll bring it with us, don't worry.
Oh, I was going to say.
Be moving around a lot.
Loft's all cleaned out, perfect. I've left.
Oh yeah, don't worry about that.
No, but I've left everything purposely because I'm going to tell you why. Not like my mate Bobby there, who takes pigeons out, babies in, and walks them around the garden. I said, what are you doing? I thought he was joking. You never touch young birds in a nest. Never clean out round them, leave them alone.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
No, that's the trouble. I did it too, until I learned from better people. And natural pigeons should be kept natural as you can. Now, right, so we stock side with racing hens, most of them. That's a Jan Aarden there. She scored. There's your blacks up there. Can you get them?
Yep.
Couple of red. See that fellow up the top there? He's got a gold. You can just see the gold band.
Yep.
That's off Kevin's 3,000 pound pigeons. That's that jelly. I call them jelly babies. Until they prove themselves, mate, they're no different than something that somebody gave me. You're going to have one, do you see the grizzle?
Yep.
That's a hen. Now you've got one the same way bred as that. They were off my mate who died there the other day. From Hawsley's bloodlines. So if you hold on to it and the hogs don't get it, so I used to breed them for other people that liked them, because I found they do go to the hawk very often. So do the reds. I tried to breed away from them, but so you have them, you got to, and then come out. That's the guy I was telling you about. He's down there. He's a poet.
Yeah.
Checker poet.
Yeah.
That's the son of that eight. He's the Jan Aarden, and they come out of those Welsh fellas that packed in after the one died.
Yeah.
After they won Barcelona. Well, that line goes right back to the greatest Barcelona pigeon ever.
Which one's that? What's the greatest Barcelona pigeon
ever? It's a Jan Aarden anyway, but
right.
they had him, or they had the offspring. But you would see, I think you should have been a racer. You'd be out there, they'd all be in, he'd be flying around, just like a widow woodcock.
Yes.
Just to annoy me, but
So there you stock birds.
Yeah, they've all come from in here. The reason you got a grizzle, one pair only had one. So I said, right, there's no use waiting because then it'd be too far behind.
Yeah.
So I took one out.
So what are these?
This is long distance.
Right.
There's your Marley's pure. Now that's the pure Marley black that comes out of the eggs that I had. And look at her. She looks like a cock. You've got only the one out of them two. I think that's the one that's more like a dark checker. That's with the checker cock. You've got two out of them two. That's again. I think that's got that's the Southwell blood. I've only got a little bit of that, but he was a brilliant long distance man. Again with a Marley. I think it's probably because the cats have been about. Because a strange face comes to a loft and gone out over your head.
Go today, yeah.
You see now how I say about leaving things natural until I'm ready to race, and then everything's been. They want to lay down there after they've reared in the bowls. They can do what they like.
Yeah.
But
how do you keep the floor clean, George?
I don't. That's just covering.
Very, very dry, isn't it?
Yeah, dry. I have a layer of my secret. Let's say we all like to have a secret.
Yeah.
I tell everyone what I use, so it's not a secret. Lime.
Loft white.
No.
Oh.
Lime.
It was lime. Okay.
Garden lime. Just garden lime.
Right.
I have never had a red mite in my loft.
Right.
It's in the bowls. Mm-hmm. It's under the bowls. Right until, and as I say, you don't clean out underneath young pigeons. It's the easiest way to get runny red droppings by disturbing the youngsters. Bobby picking them up.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, he said, I wanted to see where they live, Noel.
Yeah.
Bobby is more of a pigeon keeper.
Yes, I see.
Because he loves them.
Yeah.
And his pigeon got nicked. We reckon it was nicked. And I was going to tell you that was the Jamela. What your mum paid all them thousands for, Bobby had a half brother to the national winner.
Right. Came
in as a stray.
Right. Okay.
And his mate from over around St. Neots way, he followed it up, and he found pallets. Do you see them in the paper pallets?
Yeah.
All the pigeons they have from these different blokes, and they had the pedigrees up there, and your man was there to find the pedigree.
Right.
He said to Bobby, he tried to buy it off Bobby. It wasn't his.
Oh, okay, right.
It's probably come over from Belgium.
Right, I've got you. Yeah.
And the Belgians, I've even tried getting through to them when I've had strays, and they just ignore you.
Yeah, I suppose you get them here, don't you? Because you're a bit closer.
Oh yeah, I've had Dutch, Belgium, French. But as I say, once all this laying is finished, and the last I've only got 2 youngs to come out here and that's them done, then is when I have me big clean out, bowls all clean, and then if they're going on with a hood, bowls turned over. That's another thing. You leave the bowl turned over, and if you want to see pigeons, when you've got them separated, what you do? I'll come down here, say 6 o'clock in the morning, right? During the summer when we're across the channel, lovely early mornings. I'll go in and I'll put a bit of grub in because they'll be getting fed individually to see if they want it. And I'll give them probably half an hour, and then I'll come back down. I'll go in and have a cup of tea. Then I'll open up. I'll turn the bowl. And straight away you should see a reaction. As soon as they see that bowl, something we know it's coming. And then what I do is the pigeons are up there, instead of, I've plenty of time in my hands, I don't have to carry them down, I just let them out.
Yeah.
The hens will go out and do a bit of flying around, and then they come bursting through here and up to them and into the bowls, and then I shut them in. So you don't want them treading. None of that.
Yeah.
And that's Just stand there and watch them. And the best pigeons will be the ones. The yearlings are always excitable, but they're only learning. So the good pigeons the cock will go down in the bowl, and he'll call the hen in, and then she'll come in and sit on top of him, and she'll comb his hair and do all that. You see that?
Yeah.
And you could then say, right, well, that's the pool pigeon for a start. Whichever one you're going to think of. You might have 3 or 4 doing it, but you'll always have a favourite. And you say the lad that comes the most regular is going to be carrying the money. He mightn't be the winner, mightn't be your first pigeon, but he could be second or third. And then the excitable fellas go into the crate straight away, because they're a waste of space. And then he'd probably be the last one coming out. Nice
So the ones that are calm in the boxes, but are like
the hen,
combing in and just like cooing together, they're the ones that are going to do well. The ones that are running all over the shop.
they're just, as we always call yearlings, mad teenagers.
Yeah.
And you can never trust them. A mad teenager can win, and you'd lose them the next week. And I've done all that. I know all about that. And the best yearlings I ever had, like the one that won the section, that was his last race. He come out the next year. I lost him on the first toss.
Yeah.
And I had several pigeons. I've done it in the club, in the Fed. We had a big cup. And it was for the first yearling. You didn't have to win the race. The first yearling clocked from a certain race from about 300 mile. And several years I won it. And I lost the pigeons straight away after that, the next year or whatever. I always thought then that yearlings that really do it for you hurt themselves. And they're still growing, they're not fully grown. And okay, if you've won something really good, they can't take it away from you. But I'm sure, and my brother-in-law, who'd been in pigeons long years before me, said to me once, "Are you still sending yearlings over the channel? We're in the same club." And I said, "Yeah." I said, "They've all got to go, train and learn." He said, "Yeah, but you'll never get them." And I'll tell you what, he was right.
Yeah.
And I stopped doing it for years. And now I'll only do 1 or 2. And I don't really want them to come and win for me. Because I want the 2-year-olds and the 3-year-olds to that. I just want them to get the experience and come steady. 2-year-olds, once they're worked their way out, and I think they're ready, they'll go to 600 mile.
Yeah.
But if I'm not happy, they won't. They'll have another year. And that's why sometimes I don't go. I've learned, even when you think the years are running away from you, I've learned that don't be silly, because he'll be there as a 3-year-old, and then he will be ready.
Yeah.
And them two, they're in. See, then once yours are gone and his is gone,
Yeah.
and these will be coming out now tonight,
Yeah.
because they're wanting to come.
Yeah.
And then I've still got a few more, but I'll leave everything. This is where they get their antibodies from.
Yeah.
I learned the old way from the old men.
I've got the same thing on mine.
Yeah, and I won't. And then once they're all out and they're up, then I'll clean out.
Yeah.
And then I'll put another clean layer down. Same thing, a layer of, you can hardly see it, but a nice film of the lime.
Yeah.
And that soaks over, and they love scraping around in it and all that. And then that saves a lot of bloody hard work.
Yeah.
See, in my younger years, I was all the time running around cleaning. I mean, they're still paired up, so you won't get the reaction you get with widowhood cocks. But again, now you see the bloody cats.
Yeah.
And that's what I'll know too when there's a hawk being about. They come down, they won't want to come out. They're looking out, they can see it, Different when they're on widowhood, that's all closed up. Come on, lads. I'm very pleased that they're quite tame. I'm hoping to keep them this way this year.
Yeah, mine aren't.
Oh, well, mine normally aren't.
I had surgery, so I couldn't spend any time with
No,
them. Do we need to check the ring numbers, or
No, because yours are the only ones hasn't yours and Bobby's too hasn't got the phone ring on.
Right.
See, mine have all got phone rings on. Now that's one of Bobby's. Well, I always said that I'm a widowhood man. I started out with it. Now I mess around with hens. I haven't, but that was a great idea that came to me. Instead of having stock hens, I can have hens, because people say, well, you're racing, you got hens off of all them winners and you ain't racing them. And then I don't know what made me think of it. And I thought, bloody hell, I'll put them, and then it's like widowhood hens, really, because then the cocks are always at home. Only you're on the natural.
Yeah.
So you're not messing two up. On the natural, you lose a hen, you mess the cock up.
Yes.
Or vice versa. So that's my other little plan. And then come along, I'm not expecting too much out of them, but as I say, I'll use them maybe in the BICC, and I can concentrate the other two lots going with the National Flying Club. Because although in the early races, I know anything I'll get is going to come out of that shed, but they've got to go as well, and they'll be fed heavier once we cross the channel, where they'll be on a widowhood mix plus stuff I mix up. I'll show you that. And the middle one, they'll be on, well, if I can still get it, up to last year, Irish mixes. It's a very heavy mix. Put them on that. Then that's them for as far as Barcelona. Plus peanuts, things like that. They add to oil on the corn. Try and have two sheds. So. Yeah. Because if you start treating the long distance pigeons for Lerwick and Torso, you're going to get hammered in the early race. It can get you down.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Unless you can put just like I know old boys who just walk in, not interested in them early races, didn't even care if they had a clock or not.
Yeah.
But as soon as they crossed over the bang,
yeah,
things changed. 4 or 5 cocks in a little hut would do you on widowhood.
Yeah.
You still got to have the hens somewhere, and if you can put them elsewhere away so they don't hear them, even better. You don't, when you let them out in the morning, if you're able to do it, in a bit of cleaning out, there's hardly nothing to clean out, you've done it in 2 minutes, change the water, or top up whatever you do, put the stuff in, all the different things we do.
Yeah.
And then out of the way, like I'll come up here, and then I'll watch and see, close the door. So, because if the door's open, they'll be flying back in again.
Yeah, I got you, yeah.
So keep them out. Sometimes, for the first week or two, they could kind of drive you batty, because you think they're not going to fly, they're not going to do this.
Yeah.
But you'll get used to that. Well, then if you want, and I do it, some people say, no, you must never use a flag. All the top men use a flag. Some of them have them on flagpoles,
yeah,
run them up, just to keep it moving. And then after, that's once they get into coming into form, then you can forget about that, and you can sit and you'll see them hit. You've got to be patient, because they might ramble around, they'll be chasing each other, and they'll even go down because they know they can hear hens. Sometimes I'll have the ball and I just throw it up. When they hit form, you don't have to do any of that. Then you know you've got pigeons in form, because they can't stand still without cocks. You won't get that in natural. And they'll come down, and then you'll see one coming buzzing over there, and then he'll be up and he'll be after him. He'll even chase a sparrow if it goes across in front of him.
Yeah.
And then when they're in the loft, if you have a peep in, you just able to see him. And look for the fella. He's trembling. That's one thing. Now you can have them all doing that, and someone down the road can have them doing that. So you're still, but at least you know now you're getting what you want. You're going to be in the fight.
My set, I'd be quite happy if I could have 12 cocks. That's the size that my loft and my stuff would be. 12 cocks, and then I've got enough room.
I've already cut. I always had boxes. Those two have 12 boxes.
Yeah.
The last couple of years, I closed down. I've got 9 in the widowhood section, and if I could get to get the 6 of them were 2 or 3 year old, and a few yearlings coming in. That'd be it. But every now and again it goes bang. Like this year now I'm 2 down already. I've only got 7.
So you've got 7 cocks.
In that side I've already lost. Well, the Hawks got 1, and then I lost a 2-year-old late bred in that first toss. Terrible toss. The other 2 hopefully will do what I want them to do, and maybe a yearling or 2 will come through. I don't even expect the yearlings to score. That's a bonus when they do, which he did, the 2-year-old again. Like the others did, maybe 1 race over the channel as a yearling. I went for years where I didn't do that, because I always found that any yearling, especially the one that the very first section winner ever, first old board national I went into, and that pigeon had been across the channel 3 times in 2 weeks.
3 times in 2 weeks.
What, Saturday with the Fed, and I think he was 6th or 7th club. The following week he went back again, the same place, and he won it. And that was a fast race. And the national was the next Saturday. So on the Thursday he was gone again. Everyone, you ain't sending that year. And even Johnny, this is the best pigeon in the shed. And we had to, I said, we got to go. And there was only one other pigeon around Cambridge that was within a half an hour of him. And I think I sent 5, I remember. The others were broken pigeons from the north.
Right.
Because it was only our 2nd year south, first year in the Nationals. Because I had yearlings that had been young birds south.
Yeah.
That's why I said them. The others were coming and they were taking cards, some of the North Road pigeons. But they came an hour behind him. Mm-hmm. I didn't even put them in. I was treating, in my head I'm still in like a Fed race. Of course, when I get to the market station, they're looking at me like I'm a complete loony. Because my mate rang me up and he said, I rang him up because he was told he was going to win it, he was that far ahead of himself. And I rang him, he said, I'll meet you at 6 o'clock. I was in Cambridge then, but the guy over the road here used to do the clocks. At the time was going on, and I said, John hasn't rang me, so 6 o'clock I rang him. And his wife said, he's just coming up the garden path, and I could hear him panting. And he come in and, yeah, I've just clocked. I clocked at 3:30. I said, and I'm the novice, to him. And I said, how many is that you got then? He said, that's the first one. And then it obviously clicked with him that I must have clocked that I'm bringing him.
Yeah.
He said, have you got one then? I said, I've got all of them. I've got 5. What? He said, when did you get the first one? I could just see him at the other end of that phone. It must have been terrible for him. I said, the time you said, because he reckoned it all up right. He said to me, any pigeon in the Cambridge about half free now. He said, never mind what they're saying. He said, it'll be a good pigeon. They're not going to be doing big speeds. It's going to be, because it was red hot. And they'd been in the basket. It was a Monday, they were released on the Monday morning. And half free. Well, it was probably nearer 20 to 4. It was about, in his reckoning at my time, it was about 10 minutes. Johnny just got home in time to see the bird come. He'd just come down the back of the houses. And next thing, bang, he was there. And it was the yearling. As I said, the other 4...
How far was that? What distance?
350 miles.
And that was on Widowhood, was it?
Yeah. Yeah.
And how long were they away from when you basketed to
they went the basket on the
Thursday?
And they were held over till the Monday.
And they still came back on the Friday, on the Monday?
Yeah.
Because I was always under the assumption that if they were held over, the Widowhood didn't perform as well.
No, it's rubbish. I reckon with that pigeon, the extra days helped him.
Right.
Because he raced. When you think back, don't forget, I'm a novice at this still, and just haven't turned south. Not thinking like that. Good pigeon, if he's in form, keep him going.
Yeah.
Normally the people who are afraid of you tell you, oh, you want to put him away now, you want to do this and you want to do that, because that's what used to happen on the North Road. Oh, you want to be slowing down now, because...
You know, we're doing
yeah, exactly. Same guys, when they got a win or something, you never hear them shut up about it.
Yeah. See, I'm not sure what to do with mine. I've got myself a nosebleed.
Do you suffer with them?
I have done recently, yeah. It seems to be a bit of a
My
pain.
brother-in-law was terrible.
It's when I go from hot to cold.
Oh,
if it's hot outside and cold inside, hot inside, cold outside, it always tends to do it, especially in the winter. But I've not had it so much lately. But this last week it's been like that, yeah. So, but if you don't mind talking to me while I've got a tissue over my nose, that's fine. Yeah. So I mean, like I was saying, the situation. I don't know if you've seen. I don't suppose you've seen my loft set up. Has John sent you any clips or anything?
I'm not even sure he did, but I don't know whether I'm not as good with phones as he is and all that.
Yeah.
And I mean, he sent me loads of things.
Yeah.
Because about different fanciers, like Jamela, because I've got a few of them pigeons.
Yeah.
And the guy won the international, the Barcelona international, and he was second the following year.
Yeah.
What a brave man!
Yeah.
Well, take my hat off. And he doesn't believe in one win, even though it's an international win. He still wanted that pigeon, a hen, to do it twice, which he was second.
Yeah, that's impressive.
But,
yeah.
You can imagine what they cost.
Yeah.
Well, I got some through I call him my mate Kevin. He runs the wagon for the trainer. He went over there, took him, and he didn't get him direct from Jamela. He got him from another guy, because obviously you probably might be talking tens of thousands.
Yeah.
And it took him 2 years to get him. Well, he used to travel with a film crew, and he looked after all he's mechanic by trade and all the vehicles and that. And bloke wouldn't entertain him the first time he went. And then he was over there again, and he happened to be in the area with this film crew, and he said, I'll give it another go. And I know we spent quite a few thousands, because his other mate told me, and they're kind of partners. And he, 5,000 or 6,000 with this one. Anyway, your man said when he I suppose he went up to enough money to make it worthwhile, but he didn't tell him what he was giving him. He just said, right, go in there and pick out, was it either 3 or 4? I think it was only 3, 15 grand or something he paid. He said, go in and pick out 3 pigeons. So you can't even say what I'm going to pick. I'm getting one out of the champ or out of the...
Yeah.
No, you go in and pick 3 out of there. If you're happy with them, we'll see what they come off. I'm very lucky. He got a brother and a sister, and they were from... they weren't from the hen. So it's very close, but two national winners in the 3 of them anyway. So he's over the moon with that. I was talking to him one day, and he's on about it, because he ain't done a lot, Kevin. Fair enough, last year he won a section from Barcelona, which is good, because he was getting that. I could see him giving up.
Yeah.
Because we're talking about it, I said, he's spending an awful lot of money on pigeons, He said, I've spent £80,000 on pigeons and all. And he ain't been in it that long.
Yeah.
The first time I see him come up, he was in the club here in Cambridge for a year or two. He lives over at Royston. He's only 12 miles down the road. And Colin Crick was first section from Tarbes, and Kevin was second. I just knew the name. I didn't know him. I met him. That was the first time I met him. I met him that evening. I was third. But Colin was a good way ahead of us. He done it with a hen and having his first baby. He hadn't bred out of her that year, he set her up. He done exactly that from Poe. And funny enough, he's in the book this week with the London Classic Club that used to be around back in the day. And he won that from Poe when he lived in Stevenage. Done the same thing. hen going with a, because we often talked about it. I've got a daughter off his national winner down there. She don't lay anymore, and if you look at her, you think she's only about 3 year old.
Yeah.
She's beautiful, lovely hen. I've tried everything.
She won't lay. How old is she?
She's about, Christ, she must be 10 now.
Oh, right.
But she stopped laying at about 6 year old.
Right.
And she bred me. Some of the calves are in there for a fifth section, and good. He couldn't get him to come from there from that line because that's a Jansen line, but he won from.
Sorry, it's a chancing line.
Jansen.
Oh,
Jansen line pigeons. You see,
Yeah.
so he'd be using them as sprinters.
Right.
Because he said
Jansen as sprinters, did you say?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, yeah, they were renowned for that. But everybody brought them in to put them with the long distance pigeons to try and get. It's that thing about getting a bit of speed into them.
Mm-hmm.
Will it work?
Yeah.
And he said, Christ, he said, I didn't think they'd do that, Noel. And then he said, but you paired them up to your Bricoux, haven't you? I said, yeah.
And the Bricoux are the
Long distance.
right.
They're the ones now I've got paired to the Marleys.
And the Marleys are also long distance.
Out and out.
Yeah.
Yeah. The reason I got the Marleys, I should have had them. I did have one or two way back. I bought them in the sale. I knew that man a lot of years. He invited me over there, and that was not long before he died, unfortunately. And we never got round to me and my mate.
So you've not met, you didn't meet him?
But I got him from his, what I call his adopted grandson. He got to pick at him.
Right.
And I got them from him because they were very inbred, so ideal for crossing
Yes.
into mine.
These are the Marleys.
Yeah, and mine were pretty inbred, the Bricoux, over the years.
Yeah.
But not from just one source. I had them from Scotland, and I got some from a guy up in the Midlands. He only died a few years ago. He made it over the 100. He was a pretty famous man up there. And they connected, and they took off.
Yeah.
Same pigeons from two different lines. And that man, I have him somewhere, he gave me printouts of when he was, I think it was, might have been even during the war years, because he was a pigeon fancier at a 5-year-old with his father. And if you read the line about Dr. Anderson and all that, the first man that brought the Bricoux and that into this country. And then they went off to this sale, and it's in there. He paid sort of, what was it, £5 or something for one off of that one, and free.
Probably a lot of money back then.
A lot of money back then, because he went for a working person. And he kept them coming through, all through them years. I've got pigeons down there. Imagine I could say there's a bloodline. I wouldn't even tell it to anybody that you get mad. It's probably going back 80 years.
How many years?
About 80.
That's impressive, isn't it?
I mean, he stayed good few years, and he was 102 when he died.
Yeah.
I went up there with my mate Ray and this other guy that I was talking about on the North Road. They're both dead now. And he was 92, and he was running around the garden like a bloody 2-year-old. Big, tall man, 92 years of age.
Yeah.
Full of it. He had people coming from all over. But
So you've got Harley Westrops. Is it Harley Westrops? Marley Westrops.
Yeah.
Can you say Harley? Marley Westrops and Bricoux.
they're
You crossed the two, did you?
they're the main. And then I've got a few Jan Aardens.
And Jan Aardens, what are they? Are they distance too?
Long distance pigeons too. The one that yearling was half Jan Aarden.